Here's a 44 Massey. This was my neighbor's tractor actually, and yeah, it's quite a story, but he ended up moving to town when his dad passed away, and his brother just went and scrapped everything, and he didn't want to lose this tractor, so he just got taken over here, and we stored it a while, and then we ended up buying it from him when he moved to town, but we didn't pay much for it, but it's got a buzz saw, so we're gonna get going and use it to saw firewood. And part of that is these auto light systems you can't get parts for anymore, so I'm gonna convert it to 12 volt and put an alternator on it. That's number one on the agenda. Now to do this conversion, I know I got this loose, but you see I gotta move this over about 1/2 an inch. And to do that, I'm gonna slot the holes of this bracket, and I'm gonna just space it out for the alternator. So here's what he used for a key switch. Well, that's gotta change. I got the old generator bracket back on, but I drilled it over. So it moves it about 1/2 an inch because that's about what we are out. And I drilled these out to 3/8. They're 5/16. And I cut this all thread rod to for it too. For functionality's sake, now that I got the alternator lined up, I need something in between here and here, a spacer. Or I could just screw a nut here and nut here, and that's all I need. For functionality's sake, that's all you need to do, but I want it to look like something, so I'll just put a spacer in. So I got this right tie against. I'll lock my caliper. There, it's 4 5/16 is the way it is. Kept my setting on my caliper and I locked it. So now what I need to do is just pull this up, butt this against the saw like this. There we go. If I cut it there, it should be just perfect. There we go. This is probably gonna be way more miserable than if I just put a nut on. In fact, I know it is, but I wanted it to look like something. It's not that bad. I might have made her a tad short, but it'll squeeze in anyways, I think. I'm into the alternator base now. There we go. Perfect. Just I tighten that up, it should be just perfect. Get her tightened up good. There we go. Alternator is mounted. Now wiring time. Now the wiring on this thing's also ridiculously simple. This is a 1-wire alternator, so I need 1 wire for the alternator. I need another one for the coil, and that's it. This thing, they threw the lights away, but if it did have lights, the wiring will go on the, will be separate anyway, so that's all I need is those two. On the Massey, the starter switch is in the dash, so you just have a wire from there to the ammeter, another one from there to the key switch, or from the ammeter to the key switch, and the key switch to the of course the key switch to the distributor, and then there's the alternator wire, the two in our harness hooked up, and that's it. This is about the simplest wiring harness there ever was. Okay, I cut the wires off. I'm ready to start building the harness. I just used what I had for color and not gonna stick to any codes because I don't know what they were on the Massey, so. But different color. This only needs the 16 gauge wire to the coil. I used 10 to the alternator. Gotta leave enough wired at the alternator. They'll give a little room for adjustment. I'd rather cut a little off than be short. Take my wires, pinch them and pull them out. And I can start taping. You don't need to see me tape these together, but I'll do a double layer tape and then put loom over them. Okay, I got the new harness. The first layer of tape on in the same place. The old one, I don't have it right in here yet, but it's plenty long enough. So I'll put another layer of tape on and loom it. Okay, I gotta just dip it. I gotta have some extra for adjustment, which would be about here. Be fine. I use crimp-on terminals. I strip them with wire pliers about 3/8 of an inch, maybe 3/8 to half. Crimp them on, put them on. It's just right. Crimp them on. Good and tight. Put a desk grip on these things, so then I'll point this down, and it doesn't only act like a drip loop, but it takes up some of the slack. Because there is a little slack in it, but not much. There we go. Just tighten this up good. Hate when they're sort of tight all the way. Okay, there you go. There's alternator is hooked up on this end. Now repeat on everything. Okay, I changed the coil. I used a 12-volt coil with a resistor built in. And there again, because it's negative ground, we hooked the negative. This wire's fine, it's just missing the terminal. We hooked that to the distributor and the positive to the battery to the key switch. Okay. I got the wiring done. Just very basic wiring. I went to a 60 amp ammeter on it because we're using an alternator. I hooked these two wires up on one side, the one from the alternator and the one that feeds the switches together, and then just one from the battery, the main cable in, and that's all it is. Just a very basic electrical system. If I wanted to add lights, I'd get a new push-pull switch and hook a fuse on it from here to the lights, and the lights on the Massey go on the fenders right here and on the back. So I don't have to go in the main harness at all. So these two wires are all I needed. The one from the alternator and the one from the ignition. That's all it takes, plus the one in the dash. Plus two in the dash, and that's just as basic of an electrical system as you could get. Well, God bless you. I'll catch you at the next one. Please like and subscribe.